Chapter 1. Don't lie to the map. Nobody claps when you decide to stop running. There's no parade for quitting the thing that was slowly killing you. No trophy for choosing clarity over chaos. Most of the time, the only sound you hear is the static in your own head and the quiet judgment of people who don't know half the shit you survived. And even the ones who do know, a lot of them still don't clap. They just watch, waiting to see if this is real or just another chapter you'll pretend never happened. That's life. That's people. That's exactly why this decision has to be 10 toes. This chapter isn't about motivation. It's about orientation. Because before you build anything, a life, a future, a business, an empire, even a peaceful morning, you have to find the EDO locator. That sign in the mall that says, "You are here." In recovery, it hits different. It doesn't say, "You're doing great." "You're almost there." "You're special." It says, "You are here." In rehab, rebuilding, stripped of shortcuts, no substances, no lies that still work. That dot is humbling as hell. That's why most people refuse to stand on it. They want to skip ahead. They want to jump straight to the comeback story. They want to talk goals before they admit reality. But the map doesn't move for fantasies. You don't get to route yourself out of chaos if you're lying about where you're standing. And this is where the Baltimore in me speaks up. Not loud, not dramatic, just calm and serious. You can't fake your location and still make it home. Where I'm from, you learn early. The street doesn't care what you meant to do. It cares what you did, what you repeated, and whether you respected the situation. Same rule here. So let's say it clean. You're not here because you're weak. You're here because something finally didn't work anymore. That's not failure. That's information. The dot is sacred. Recovery doesn't start when you stop using. It starts when you stop pretending. CBT calls this reality testing. Hermeticism calls it correspondence. As within, so without. The streets call it keeping it a buck. Different languages, same law. If you lie about where you are, every move you make after that is crooked. That's why people relapse with big plans in their mouth. Because the plan might be real, but the starting point is fake. Standing on the dot means admitting you don't know everything, accepting you're rebuilding from the ground up, letting go of comparisons, shutting up long enough to learn. That last one is hard, especially in rehab. Rehab is the stoop with fluorescent lights. Rehab is basically a neighborhood bench with rules. Everybody watching everybody. Everybody clocking who talks smart, who's performing, who's really locked in, who's just taking space up because it's cold out, who's just killing time. And comparison spreads fast. You see someone reading books, talking strategy, thinking long term, and something tightens in your chest. That ain't hate. That's hunger. But if you don't check it, jealousy will have you crashing out over timelines you made up in your head. Here's the EDO locator theory in real life. Jealousy only hurts when you think you're supposed to be somewhere else. So you come back to the dot. I'm here, I'm alive, I'm rebuilding, I'm not late, I'm not early, I'm accurate. Accuracy beats hype every time. Baltimore Hermetics. Don't rush the corner. Where I'm from, there's another rule you learn fast. You don't rush the corner. You don't come flying out blind just because you're emotional, impatient, scared, or feeling yourself. You slow down, you check the angle, you listen before you move. Because rushing the corner gets people hurt. That's not paranoia, that's situational awareness. Recovery works the same way. Most relapses happen because people rush the corner. They sprint past the ideolocator. They skip the dot. They assume they know what's next. They think, I'm good now. I've learned enough. I can handle it. I'm different. That's rushing the corner with your hands in your pockets and your head full of stories. CBT would call it faulty prediction. Hermeticism would call it effect without understanding cause. Baltimore and Cleveland calls it moving reckless. Same mistake. 10 toes doesn't mean charging forward. 10 toes means planting your feet before you move. You don't rush the corner with cravings. You don't rush the corner with money. You don't rush the corner with relationships. You don't rush the corner with big plans while your foundation is still wet. You slow your breathing. You scan your thoughts. You play the tape all the way out. Ed put language to it. He called it the EDO locator, knowing your exact position before you plan your next move. No assumptions. Cecil and Ed gave me ways of thinking that hold up under pressure. Frameworks that train restraint, sharpen awareness, and force honesty when ego wants speed. Not ideas to admire, but disciplines to live by. No skipping steps. No advancing without understanding the terrain. They taught me when to advance and when to wait. When movement is strategy. And when stillness is. How to win without charging, and how to survive by not being seen. If this chapter feels grounded, it's because it's built on principles that don't bend for ego, urgency, or applause. That's not luck. That's guidance. That's respect. Stand on the dot. Don't rush the corner. We're just getting started.